Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Mel Braika. Today I'm looking at a very interesting phrase from Deuteronomy, and I'm doing it so because it gives us a chance to look at what a first olive does inside a verb. Okay, this is an infinitive form of this verb here, ahava, and le is a nominative purpose. Okay, it's a preposition. Hey, this is what you have to do. Okay, with the purpose of lehava, in order to love. At Jehovah. So this is direct object marker here, of course, and the person that receives the action of love is this one. And the aleph in front of the first letter of a three-letter root gives it a sense of a personal thing. I'm going to do this. I must love. Okay, so le'ahava. We're going to see a couple of other cases where first aleph has somewhat of a similar influence in how the verb works here. So we're going to start with this one, le'ahava at Jehovah. And we're in Deuteronomy 11, verse 13, v'haya, and then it's so, im shemoah tishmeu, and this is same root here, of course, shin mem ayin, listen. This is listen. When you listen attentively, then it means obeying. Okay, you listen attentively. Repeated here, and conditional also. In other words, if you will listen, you should listen. Then good things will happen. Okay, so if you obey, if you listen, el mishvatai, to my commandments, feminine plural here of the holam tau, and this is the noun here, feminine plural, and this one's then the verb here, anochi mashve. Okay, meshve, and then I will command. I will give this command. So again, conditional here, and then he's explaining some more about it. Asher, which I command. Itachem, to you. Incidentally, we're looking, this is further on down from the Shema, which is in the second person singular. This one is second person plural. All of these things are plural, okay? Etachem, and then Elokechem, and then your Levechem, and Nafshechem, okay? These are all, in English, you don't see it, but it's there, okay? All these are suffix plurals of your or you. Etchem hayom, today, direct object marker on hey is a direct object, or definitive. It's a definite article, okay? Definite article. Hayom, today, lahava, in order to love, and then so you have, like I said, nominative purpose, to love, infinitive then. And this word here, the root, aleph hey bet, is built up with joining the aleph to a hey bet. Okay? A hey bet is to give, it's a present, okay? And then you put the aleph in front of it, makes it I do it personally. I personally give, okay? And so when you relate to Jehovah, it's the kind of love that you must give to Jehovah. In other words, it's a personal relationship. The aleph makes it a personal thing. Okay, first person. that's what it is here. And we're going to see a couple of examples of first aleph verbs in the reading. First time I read it through, I only noticed one or two of them. Now there's three of them actually in our reading for today. Lehavah et Yehovah, to love Jehovah, Elokechem, your God. Le'abado, and to serve him. The antecedent of this him here, of this suffix pronoun, is Yehovah. Bekol, in all, kamas atuv here, and this one's also kamas atuv. Bekol, in all, levevechem, in all of your heart. Ubekol, nafshechem, in all of your soul. Okay, in all of your soul. These are both plurals, although you don't see it in English. And natati, I will give, I will provide. Mater, this is rain. A couple of different ways to say rain in Hebrew. One of them is geshem. This one's mater. Okay, the falling rain actually. Mater. Aretzchem. Okay, to your land. Again, the suffix, the pronoun here in plural. To your land. Beeto, in its time, its proper time, the right time. Yore. This is the early, the autumn rains, the October rains, the rains that get the crop started. Malkots, and the late rains, the rains that finish it off, the rains that make the heads of grain fill in. Both are required. This one starts the crop, this one finishes and gives you a bountiful harvest when it falls. When it doesn't fall, you're going to get a very weak harvest. So that does happen in In Israel, the people have to depend on Jehovah. In Egypt, they depend on the river Nile, but in Israel, you have to depend on Jehovah for these kind of rains, the early and the late rains. When you state it this way, you're saying, hey, time to depend or time to trust in Jehovah. Azaf ta, and then I will add, you will add, okay, you will gather. And again, this is the first Aleph verb here. Wow, Aleph right in the front here. And asaf means to gather together. You remember from Yosef, in other words, Joseph was added in. You remember from Asaf as the choir director who was gathering songs and gathering people together into choirs. But this is azafta, verb here. And the aleph here, then think of it as first person pronoun, but makes it personable. Okay, this is something you personally gather together. Okay, so azafta, you will gather together personally. Daganecha, to your grain. Dagan is Dagon also was also the pagan god of the Philistines, but here it is, Daganecha, your grain. Your King James calls it corn, but it is grain. Daganecha. Tir zecha, and your new wine. This is actually the wine, the first pressed wine when it's just coming from beneath your feet. Tereshecha. And Yitzharecha, and your oil. Okay, this is also pressed out oil. Would be olive oil here, of course. So, and I will provide grass. Natati zev. Zev here is grass. You can see the grass waving here on the top of this scene. Also, you can see the grass waving on top of the sade. Nice mnemonics. Just look at grass waving here. Natati, and then I will give or provide. The first person singular. Now, some of the other, the Dead Sea Scrolls and Septuagint will put this as third person, but in Hebrew it is the first person. Natati. I provide, I give. Ezev. Incidentally, the tau here means he puts a mark and sets on it. Okay, so Natati, Ezev, Zedecha in your field. These are both singular, so we've gone back to, incidentally, back to singulars. In fact, yeah, this one's also singular here. Bezedecha, leave bemetecha, and your animals, your livestock. Construct ending here with a tau. Bema would just be animal or beast. See it in Genesis, and here we see it again. Bemetecha, beacholecha, and this is al-akol ta. And then you will eat. And again, a first aleph verb. And you're going to go, oh, to eat. Okay, what is eating then is a very personal activity. Okay, it's something you do with your own mouth. Okay, so you look it up in the dictionary. It's going to be an aleph kof, an aleph, aleph kaf lamet, to eat. But just think this aleph on the front here makes it personal. And if it would be running as a first person verb, they wouldn't stick another aleph in front of it. So al-kotecha, you're to eat, you will eat. Veshevatecha, and you will be satisfied. Shavata, okay, shavata. So this brings us to what we must be thinking about here, the early and the late rains. And we find in James, therefore, brothers, be patient until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, okay, and is patient until receives the early and the late rains. And you kind of wonder, why the rains are mentioned here. But James really did have the heart of what functioned there in Israel, and that is the only person capable of giving the early and the late rains is Jehovah. So when you're waiting for the early and you're waiting for the late rains, and he takes the farmer here as an example of it, that farmer is watching. Anybody who's done farming knows that you get up in the morning and you look out across the fields and you're wondering what the clouds hold for you. And when you're doing that, you're also looking for God's blessing, God's abundance. And here, this is then also provided as an example. Hey, just as you're looking for the early and the late rains, you must also then be patient, and you must also then be looking and waiting and hoping for the coming of the Lord. Then the coming of the Lord is near. The farmer eventually does get his rains, and we also, as faithful followers of Christ, will also um, be able to enjoy the coming of the Lord. We live a life of anticipation, knowing that God gives his blessings on this earth, and those blessings are very symbolic of the blessings that he's going to be showering on us when the Lord returns in victory. When Christ appears on the clouds, hey, there it is. Wow. The early and the late rains have taken place, and we can rejoice knowing that Jesus is coming to gather us to his home. God bless and God strengthen you this day, and may you place your view on the Lord and place your heart on that kind of hope. That's what we can look forward to, knowing that the Lord is preparing a place for us. God bless, and until the next time.